Next up, we present to you Mr. Federico J. González, Chief Executive Officer, Radisson Hotel Group. With an extensive global executive leadership experience in hospitality, leisure, and fast-moving consumer goods sectors, Mr. González, prior to joining the Radisson Hotel Group, served as the Chief Executive Officer of the NH Hotel Group, where he led a major turnaround for the company. A respected marketer and hotelier, Mr. González has authored 3 books. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. González.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the invitation, and thanks to you all for being today. Today, we are going to talk about a different topic that is not necessarily a hotel topic. We are going to talk about actually what we have called embracing the change. Before I go there, just two notes about me so you know the experience. I was born in Madrid in '64. Can you see the slide? Yes. Okay. Then I studied economics. I moved to Procter & Gamble, where I worked 16 years. Then 8 in Disney, 4 in NH. And then I came in 2017 to Radisson Hotel Group. And 2 comments about the company. We started a change in 2017, and actually, during last year, we were already a company with 1,600 hotels globally, out of which 1,215 operations, with a very strong presence in the US, very strong presence in EMEA, and a significant presence in Asia. This was a result of a change, but actually, that change will need to continue. As you can see in the next slide, during the coming, if you can see, a second. During the coming years, we'll have to double our size. We need to keep growing in the US and in Europe and in EMEA, but actually, we are targeting a significant growth in Asia Pacific. And that includes, as Katerina mentioned this morning, a significant growth in India. What we are going to talk today, as I said, is, and today is an exception, I usually like to talk to sell, but today I will only talk to share. I'm not trying to sell anything, I'm just trying to share the learnings the company had during the transformation we are having in place. And actually, that's what we call the keys to stay alive while leading change. If you look to the points we are going to cover, it's very easy. It's only 5. The keys is the first one is actually the ability to change. And that means to change, adapt, and do it every day. The second is to have a clear diagnosis and a vision for the business that actually solves all the key issues of the company. The third one is ability to secure the right people, the right partners, and the right culture, and do it quickly. The fourth one is actually to have the consumer in mind always. And the last one that we will cover is leadership, leadership, and leadership. Let's go with the first one. It's what we call ability to change and adapt. There are many books written, and possibly you know many of them. But independently of the books, you have one in the middle that is called Why CEOs Get Fired. And actually, within that book, one of the theses is that one of the key reasons why CEOs are fired is because they lack of ability to change and adapt. But beyond the books, inside, usually when you go through a change process, you leave the 4 phases that you see in the chart. You usually come to an organization that is unaware of the need of change, and you start making a diagnosis. The second phase is understanding actually the need of change. The third one is a built-in of the organization with doubts. And the fourth one is acceptance if the results come. And throughout that period, you will be doing the diagnosis, the definition of the plan, and the implementation. What is critical in this period, and the learnings we have had, is that actually first, you need to be very clear in which state you are. Because depending on where you are, you can do one thing or you can do the second. And the second element is that actually, not everywhere and everybody in the organization will be in the same point of time, in the same mind. You need to be making progress with the diagnosis. Meanwhile, many people are not still even convinced that there is a need for change. or you need to be advancing in the plan when people is not even convinced that there is a need for change. And actually, this is a graph that is very traditional in the books, but actually this has eventually evolved further with the pandemic. Pre-COVID, you would have that last phase that was acceptance if results were coming. And actually, if you look to Radisson, between 2017 and 2020, we were able to double the size of the EBITDA of the company. We were able to change many things in the company, from IT systems to revenue management systems to the organizations, and then COVID came. And what that makes is that actually, even if there is an acceptance, if results are coming and results were coming, suddenly results are not coming any longer. Have nothing to do with your change. But actually, that produces peaks down of conviction in the organization about is the change you are doing enough or not. And there are two learnings there. The first one is you will need to use a lot of personal coaching and support to keep convincing the company that the changes you are making are the right ones. And the second one is that you need to find energy boosters, boosters that make the people still believe in all the changes you are putting in place, despite eventually the results are not coming because of external factors. Some execution tips on this first point, on the need to change. The first one is that you cannot change what you don't know very well. Many times we talk about delegation, and of course we need all to delegate, but that doesn't mean that we don't get to know the issues as good or even better than we did before. The second is that the biggest resistance to change is the lack of concreteness. Too much poetry when defining a business plan or defining the diagnosis of the company. The third one is that nothing changes until people accept and visualize the difference. People need examples when you are trying to change a company of what the change means. What is going to be different in the hotel experience if I am in any job in the operational side? What does it mean for me, that change? And the last one is that you need to identify the resistance, those resistance of change, and help them leave as soon as possible, for their good and for your good. And the spirit is first that you need to have a thinking of nothing is impossible, health permitting. That we are responsible of the results. It's not that the company is responsible. That the world is immense and that complacency kills everything. And if we follow those things, those are the learnings that are helping Radisson to keep on that change and building on a continuous basis, that ability to keep the change. The second point is a clear plan. It's not only important to build the ability to change, but second, we need to secure that we have a very good plan in place. What does it mean? The plan needs to tell the truth, even if it's painful. And if you have gone ever through a change plan, usually the truth is very painful. It needs to build hope. It needs to be realistic. It needs to include only relevant facts, so it's simple. And it needs to be easy to explain. I need to be able to explain to a GM or to the head of the reception what are the key elements of the plan, the same way I need to do it with the shareholders or with a banker. These are 2 pages that I will not take you through of the plan that we presented to the company. 2 pages. 2 pages of diagnostic that obviously told the truth, built hope, was realistic, only included relevant facts because it was 2 pages, and it was easy to explain. Now, behind those 2 pages, there were thousands of pages, thousands of analyses, but it helped us to communicate very clearly what was the diagnostic of what we needed to change in the company. Beyond the diagnostic is the vision. It's not only for the plan what we need to change, but where do we want to go? And the vision needs to be clear, honest, and inspiring. I will take you very quick through the question that many people say is sometimes, isn't the vision a bit too much poetry? Can the vision change the attitude and the results of people who are working hard? And this is the example. Here you have 3 people. The 3 of them are with a hammer and with a stone. First one is not very happy. Second is so-and-so, and the third one is extremely happy. And what is the difference between these 3 people? It is the vision. What are they doing with that stone and with that hammer? The first one comes every day home and says, I'm shaping a stone. Not very excited. Second one says, I'm building a wall, and the wall keeps getting longer and longer every week. I'm very happy. The third one is building a cathedral, and the cathedral gets bigger and bigger and will stay there forever. Only the change of vision can make many people that we may think are just hammering a stone have a complete different attitude in the work they do every day. This is why we built a vision. We want to be one of the top 3 hotel companies in the world and the company of choice for guests, owners, and talent. And if we are successful one day, whenever an owner, a person who plans a trip, or someone who wants to work in hospitality, one of the top 3 names that come to their mind would be Radisson. Is it clear? Yes. Is it honest? Yes. Is it inspiring? Yes. And that led us to many people being able to change and being able to face the change and the efforts with a different mindset. Then we move to the key elements of the plan. We have the diagnostic, we have the vision, and we need to go to the plans. The plans need to be complete, concrete, sufficient, and understandable. That's the only way to make a plan be possible and be realistic. And actually, we build a plan. I will only show 2 slides, but very clearly on how we're going to change the company and our ability to drive revenues in hotels, improve profitability in hotels, build enablers on IT, and build enablers on HR, and step change the scale of the company. Those plans, you have only the labels, but each of them have 29 very concrete initiatives with very concrete calendars and plans that allows everybody to know what the plan elements are. And was it complete? It is complete, it is concrete, it's sufficient, and it's understandable. Everybody in the company understands the 29 initiatives of the company, who needs to do what and by when. And as I said, it's all about the portfolio management, the brands and products, marketing, sales, revenue management, technology, HR, scale, and each of them, as I said, has its own initiatives with the key leaders, and we review this quarterly, so we see if the plan is being executed or not, and how the results and how the plan needs to change. The third one, the third element, is the people. And I like to use this paradox from Disney, where we all in a change period needs to behave many times as villains and many times as heroes, while doing the same thing. And this happens with the team members, it happens with the shareholders, it happens with the customers, it happens with the hotel owners, and it happens with the board members. Many times we need to be doing something that is perceived good by someone, is perceived bad by someone. But at the end, we need to make sure that we're able to conciliate the 2 behaviors, and at the end, it's positive for the customer, for the owner, and for the company. And there are 4 keys to help resolve those situations of conflict. The first one is honesty. Being honest in the relation with an owner, with a customer, with anybody. Second is having knowledge, going to the data, understanding the business, and be able to discuss without emotions. The third one is the attitude, to build a long-term relationship. And the fourth is the results. If we don't deliver results, there is nearly nothing to discuss. We need to be delivering results every day. Okay. And then the beliefs. Together with the people, you have the different behaviors and getting the right teams with the right beliefs. And we spend a lot of time across the different beliefs of the company, making sure that nobody who joins disagree or do not feel that those are the beliefs they share. That's extremely important, and is one of the critical pillars that allows us to go through change and through the bad moments that change brings. Okay, let me just check. The fourth element is to have consumers always in mind. And when I say consumers, it would be consumers and it would be owners, also in the case of hospitality. And on that, I would just quickly review 2 elements. We try to do and have this with 2 focus elements. Number 1 is focus on breaking stereotypes. And the second is putting the money where your mouth is. What does it mean? I brought these figures from Disney, but from a marketing point of view, that is part of my experience. I think that no matter if it's a consumer, a customer, or an owner, there are things that people need, there are emotions, there are stereotypes, and there are wants. And I think one of the critical drivers of a good business relationship and partnership and results is focus as much as possible on stereotypes, trying to break stereotypes that are in the mind of the person we have in front. Let me give you an example. This is a photograph of a family who has just been to Disney. They finished the day, they were extremely happy, and then one tells the other one, "Where is your parking ticket? Which was the number?" And then she said, "No, you got it." And then he said, "No, you got it." Then not a happy end for the day. The stereotype in the consumer's mind is it's going to take them hours to resolve this situation, because actually the parking lot looks like this. What Disney does, Disney is able to find, when you tell them what is the time of arrival, they will find within 10, 15 minutes where your car is. That breaks the stereotype. And that suddenly you say, "Oh, wow." I was going to say something after the wow that was different. But you would say, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." And then suddenly your image of that company and of that brand changes forever. It's not a need. It's not a desire. But it's something that you have in mind that that company is not able to resolve in a normal way. And that's what we try to do. I will just share with you two small ones. The goodies that you find when you come into a reception of a Radisson hotel. They are a temptation. I love to see, I was last week in Sweden, consumers at the reception of the hotel, getting the sweets with them. Actually, I came down from my room to take also some of them to my room. But these are designed to really make you feel, wow, I don't need to have dry, boring things in the reception. I can get something exciting. Second basic example, the shower. We have put across the company showers that you want to take home. I'm happy that they think that they want to take home. I'm not that happy if they take them home, actually. But it is critical that you make them feel, wow, next time I am at home or I'm going to change the shower, I will get the Radisson shower. Like that, and if you are able to make that mindset in the company, that's what brings you, as we are bringing now, checking in online, check out online, choose your room, and all the nice goodies, because people have stereotypes and we are able to resolve them. And the second, as I said, was put your money where the mouth is. That is, when you talk about change, you're going to change the experience, you're going to become memorable. You need to become memorable in a true way. That's why the company needs examples. This is a change of a room we did in Radisson Blu in Europe. This is another one this is a true change in a hotel we had very close to the north of Norway. This is a change here in this region, where you can see how the before and after really changes, and then the organization understands how now, truly, the company is going to invest, the memories are going to be good memories, not bad memories, and people start believing and engaging into the change. This is another example where you can see the change of the room and the level of quality, memorability, and obviously trust that will mean. The last section, and I recall that I mentioned before, and it's as important, when we talk about the ability to change and adapt. Second is, as I mentioned, is the importance of the diagnosis and making sure that everybody knows what needs to be changed. Then it's the plan, then it's the people, and then it's leadership. And I think there are many books about leadership. I'm sure you have read them all, or many of them. But actually, these are the kind of critical characteristics you have. And I like always to use an example, just trying to say, which of those, or I guess, which of those are the critical ones? So let's do the exercise quickly. The first one is, have character, charisma, commitment, communication. So let's see. We only can take one or two words, okay? We can only choose two, okay? So in the first column, should we keep any? Okay, then I would suggest that maybe if we want to move in the right direction and quickly, possibly, I would say that none of them are critical if you want to select one or two. They're all needed, but is any of them extremely critical to do it? Well, possibly they're all needed, but none of them is critical. Then you have the second, that is focus, generosity, initiative, listening, passion, positive attitude, and problem solving. Again, they're all needed. They're all very important, but we can only choose one. So, and think that you are trying to resolve a problem of a company with very different interests in very different regions, across many things, and you need to choose only single word that is what drives how and what you are going to ask the leaders of the company in that change. So I would choose generosity. And generosity is not to give everything every time and for free, but it's how you think about things in the debates, when you talk to the organization, when the organization talks to you, and when the different members of the organizations and levels are working together. Imagine how many problems we have when you are going to drive change, when you have the Department of Operations in front of the Department of Development. I know that never happens. Or when you have the owner in front of a bank and the bank in front of us. Okay, what is the leadership skill that we need to try to foster or focus is generosity. And then the last one is relationships, responsibility, security, self-discipline, teachability, vision, and servanthood. So let's get another one, okay, that is servanthood. Now this again, what is the ability of the whole company to serve others? And actually, this is, I think, a diagnostic that you can do for any industry. But it's even more relevant in an industry like ours, where we are serving people. We are serving consumers every day. So when people in the company sees the spirit of servanthood across the organization, it's very different when you come to ask for a sacrifice, or when you come to ask for or take a difficult decision, because they understood you are serving something beyond your own interest or your own promotion. And if I have to choose one, because at the end you always need to choose one, between generosity and servanthood, I would choose servanthood. That at the end is, I think, the word that would fit best with hospitality. Just to finish, and to finish on time, I would add two quotes that I have learned after making the presentation in two different events. The first one is for someone called Paul Pullman, who used to be the CEO of Unilever, and I happened to be with him. He was my first boss. When I was at P&G in Spain, he was the marketing director, and since then I have a good relationship with him. He was in Brussels in an event, and the other day he mentioned actually in his speech, saying something like, in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, something called VUCA, I didn't know it, resilience is everything. And actually, he was referring to the food world, where actually, as he was in Unilever, and then with the Ukraine situation, they are working on how to fix the issues that, from a food chain point of view, the current situation may resolve. He said, we need to be resilient. And the second one is from Eddie Jones, who is actually, our head of the global development. And the other day, we're having an outside meeting, and he said, I discovered a word that sums all, says grit. And then we say, what does grit mean? He says, grit is guts, resilience, initiative, and tenacity. And actually, if I look to the four, I have to say that Ellie, I sent that to Paul Pullman, by the way, Ellie, okay, when I saw, because actually it takes, I think, resilience to one level up. Because it's not just resilience, it's actually, you cannot forget your guts, you cannot forget your ability to take and continue taking initiative, and to have tenacity. And I'm sure that if we are able to seed that grit across the organization, if we provide the right tools with the diagnostic, with the ability to change, with the importance of the plan elements and the accuracy and the concreteness of the plan elements, if you have the focus on the consumer, and if you have the teams and the right people in your teams, change is possible, and change can take you to great results. Okay? With that, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the seminar, and see you soon. Thank you.